Walsh.
Alright, ladies and gents, we're back with Drive to Survive. God, I'm fucking hungover today, I swear to God. I'm so far behind in my work too. Jesus. Do you ever get that day and you're just like, oh, I've got so much to do? I'm starting off with my podcast, so at least this is one tick off the list. But Christ, okay guys, you have to bear with me. I've got my orange juice bottle here now. I'm fucking... One second. Oh. Do you like that stuff with the orange? Or the orange bits? They're not too bad, aren't they? I normally try and stay away from those orangey bits. Do you know what I mean? Too clunky, lumpy shit. I don't know about these every now and then, like. But you know what? Fuck it. There's the only thing in there. Okay, why am I harping on about this? I don't know. Sorry, guys. Right. Okay. Drive to Survive. Season 1, Episode 6. Now, guys, this is a good one, actually. And I like this one. Not much, I suppose, in one way, not much action happens in terms of the bitching, the gossip and all that, right? In a way. But what I really like about this one is that it really does show you the politics of Formula 1 and motor racing in general, from karting all the way up to Formula 1. So let's start off. So I love the way they kind of they continue from episode 5. I think wasn't episode 5 where we saw VJ, the dodgy bastard, and like so basically what they're saying, guys, VJ, he was the former team boss. If you haven't seen any of the other episodes up to now, guys, on my podcast, so VJ was the former team boss. He owed $1 billion to the Indian government. They were trying to extradite him out of the UK, like ridiculous shit altogether. And so VJ has had to step down. And now we see it's continued on from VJ here. So they're saying, fancy way of putting it, Force India has gone into administration and they needed a, quote, rescue package. I love that word, rescue package. So who comes along? Lawrence Stroll. Now, if you're new to Formula 1, guys, why this is all happening is, well, obviously, look, it's like any other business, and Formula 1 is a business too. You need money to continue on. You need money to keep going, keep the lights on, pay the bills, pay all the boys and all the girls who are working in the F1 outfit. So Lawrence Stroll comes along, Canadian billionaire, and he's got his son Lance Stroll, who is a motor racer. So what happens? Lawrence Stroll comes along, buys a good chunk of the business of the team, and of course, what does he do? He brings his kid into Formula 1. Now, guys, if anybody's out there going, oh, for fuck's sake, like, I totally get why you would say that, right? Oh, here we go, typical, yeah, should he even belong here? 100% understandable that you would think that. Jesus, I'd think that even being in racing, right? Or being in the racing world all my life. So, but the thing is, he's fucking good. He's a bitchin', a moaner, and he's got to stop his fucking complaining. And as we see him develop, he does change. I won't say for the bad or good, but he's fucking good, guys. I do rate Lance Stroll. He is absolutely very, very good driver. So Lance Stroll comes along, and then we have an introduction to Otmar. Of course, Otmar now is the new team boss. See, this is the part that I don't like about Drive to Survive. Right? You could have about 4 or 5 different scenes, and they're cutting over to this person, then that person, then this person, then that person, within about 1 minute of the show. But like I said before, guys, I'm going to do it in real time, okay? So whatever we see in the first minute, I'll jot it down, and then whatever happens in the next scene, I'll jot it down. Easiest way to go. So, Otmar, anyway, he's quite good. He's quite good. Well, do you know, actually, we'll get into him there now. And then we see Otmar. He just says, hello, I'm the new team boss, etc. Perez, this is interesting. Perez we see Sergio Perez, and his sponsor, Carlos. right? They even mention on the show that Carlos, this guy, I can't even pronounce his second name, guys, so forgive me on that one. But this guy Carlos, anyway, he is the sponsor of Perez, and he's actually helped him all the way up through the ranks. So from karting all the way up. And this happens quite a lot. This does happen quite a lot. Schumacher was the same. He had Willy Weber. Willy Weber turned into his manager, but at the day, Willy Weber sponsored him. And I think I did mention it, I think it was episode 1 or 2, but I'll go again anyway. Basically, a lot of these manager type of people or sponsors can come along. They'll sponsor you. They'll pay for all your racing when you're in kid and karting. You go to Formula Ford, Formula 3, 2, whatever it is. But if you make Formula 1, whatever deal you get from then on in Formula 1, that manager or sponsor gets a percentage. So, for example, Willy Weber are like Carlos here with Sergio Perez and Willy Weber with Schumacher. They paid for their single-seater racing in karting, Formula Ford, Formula 3, 2. Alright, they paid all of the fees. Everything was on the house, you could say, for the driver. But the moment they got to Formula 1, and let's say Schumacher gets a Ferrari deal of 20 million for a year, Willy Weber gets, well, we'll assume it's around 10-15%, right? Because that's what a normal manager or agent would get. But it was more than that. You can be fucking sure of that. So, but then the thing is, year 2, Willy Weber is getting the exact same amount. So he continuously gets paid. Now, is the manager screwing the driver? Or is it a fair deal? That's for you to decide. I mean, I put it this way to you guys. If I found a guy that I could trust and had an agent who paid for everything, we would have gone down that road. No two ways about it. 100%. So, because it's almost impossible to get to Formula 1. Like, almost impossible. So, you gotta do what you gotta do when you're a racing driver and racing family. Anyway. So, here we're introduced now to, all of a sudden, the new team owner. Now, the team has Sergio Perez driving, Esteban Ocon in the other seat, and problem is, what happens now? Because you've got Lance Stroll coming along, and you can be sure as fuck Lawrence, the dad, is going to make sure his kid's driving, and you don't fucking blame him, okay? He's goddamn right. So he has his kid there. So who gets the seat? So now, of course, we see Perez and Ocon. Oh God, one of us is going. Who's up for this, right? So it's very tough because obviously Perez is bringing sponsorship at the exact same time. Ocon has to bring sponsorship too. Now, here's the thing as well, guys. Maybe I'm jumping the gun here, and apologies if I'm not explaining this correct. Also, when you do get to Formula 1, so like Willy Weber with Schumacher, Carlos is sponsor, right? Perez, okay? Now, sometimes you'll still have to pay your way getting into Formula 1. So, for instance, there was Mick Schumacher, Nikita Mazepin at Haas. They had to pay their seat when they got to Formula 1. Michael Schumacher had to pay year 1. Now, after year 2, he didn't. But year 1, he did. So, in this case, these two boys, Perez and Ocon, they're obviously bringing sponsorship to the table. They even mention it now. We'll get to that. So, the two boys have to still technically pay their way. But again, once they get paid, so obviously, as we know, Perez is in Red Bull now, right? And Ocon is in... God, brain fart. I'm sorry, guys. Aston Martin? No, not Aston Martin. Oh, where's Ocon again? Oh, I'm too hungover for this shit today. Christ. Anyway, look, sorry. Okay. Anyway, Ocon's somewhere. And those two boys will be getting paid now. So the manager is getting paid himself. Okay. Now, where else do we have? So you're going to wonder, how is this going to work, right? How are you going to get that seat? Is there anything else I should work on? Is there anything else I can do to impress the team, bring something to the table. I mean, these two boys are bringing fucking money to the table already. So, what else do you fucking do? Now, as we go on then, now, in fairness, Perez collides with Ocon going down that straight before Eau Rouge at Spa in Belgium. And you'd wonder, now, looking at it from a racing driver's point of view, Perez, 100%. What the fuck was he doing? Did he do that on purpose? Probably. Because he was in front. Now, if you watch the episode, guys, episode 6 of season 1, you'll see this. They're going down the straight and Ocon is in the inside. And Perez just shifts over on top of him. Now, it's a veering right. Now, it's a straight, but it still dips to the right a little bit. So Perez is just leaning his car to the right. Ocon is doing the same thing, but Perez hits into him. Now, in fairness, Perez should have been looking in his fucking mirrors because it was at the start of the race. Eau Rouge is coming up ahead. The last thing you want is be getting tangled up with a car going through Eau Rouge because you need to get the momentum going through Eau Rouge all the way up the back straight. So, unless Perez is really a fucking moron, okay? And racing drivers can make mistakes, right? Don't get me wrong. But that mistake is just like, it's almost unforgivable. It's pathetic, actually, if it is a mistake. However, if it's not a mistake and he did hit into him, well then, my friends, that's not good. That is not fucking good, I tell you that now. Because you're not going to get any favors with the team. So anyway, and then in fairness, even though I don't like Ocon, but still, he had a great race at Spa. And I can tell you that, ladies and gentlemen, racing in the conditions with your dry tires on, in the damp conditions where the track is slippy, wet, like sort of dry / wet, racing in those conditions is fucking tough. It's very, very tough. And he's very, very good. He showed some brilliance, I have to say. Ocon did it in those conditions. Still don't rate him overall because you need to be good at everything. But he did a brilliant job. He finished 3rd overall in qualifying, wasn't it? Yeah, and it just shows you he's on the fucking ball. Now, of course, we do see a lot of Will fucking Buxton. Here we go with this guy. Give me, spare me, please, with Will Buxton. A journalist, guys. He don't know shit about racing, okay? He knows the information, but he doesn't know shit. And he tries to make it out that he is. Now, on the other hand, the other journalist, Chris Medland, right? We do see him flash in and out every now and then. He's on the ball. He keeps it simple. He doesn't try and pretend that he had this huge racing series behind him, right? Like, you can tell from his look. Like, if you look at Will Buxton, you'd say to him, oh, I wonder, has this guy raced? Like the way he sounds, right? That doesn't mean he fucking knows what he's on about. Okay? It does not mean he knows what he's on about. But I don't know. Maybe it's hard to explain Will Buxton. But anyway, the other guy, Chris Medland, he's on the ball, guys. I would definitely, if you can find him on social media, I'd follow him. He's good. And he keeps it the way it is. He's a journalist. He doesn't know the racing, what it's like to be in that car. But he knows his information, and he just keeps it at that. And then we flash over to Perez and Ocon having a crash in Singapore. Here we go again. So, did Perez hit into him? Sorry guys, having some more orange here. Christ, I like this orange stuff with bits. I have to say, I wasn't a fan of this shit, but the more I drink this stuff. Anyway, Perez and Ocon. So, Perez and Ocon. There's no two ways about it. Perez again. Now this was, again, a stupid move by Perez. What the fuck was he thinking? He even comes on the radio, I'm sorry guys, I didn't see him. Now, I tell you guys, if you're in this situation where you think that you're not getting a seat, then you wouldn't be having these problems. I think Perez was very, very confident knowing he was going to get the seat, and he went, yeah, I've got this. I've got this. Because there's no way, if your seat's up for jeopardy, there's no way you're going to even attempt to have a fucking accident with your teammate. And I tell you this, you'd be looking in the fucking mirrors, especially after Spa, because the last thing you want to do is piss off the team. So I think this guy knew he had the seat coming. It wasn't out in public yet, and he went, fuck this guy. So I think that's what happened there, guys. But again, it was just weird. And then Perez has a speed wobble. Did you see that? He comes out of a corner. Some guy's kind of like almost coming out of a slipstream to overtake him. And then Perez kind of comes... he's leaning towards the middle of the track. And the car just wobbles. Very weird, guys. I can't even make out what the fuck happened there. I genuinely can't. Because he was out of the corner. He was out of the commitment of the corner. He was on the fucking throttle. There was no resistance, weight resistance against him. There was nothing against him. So to have that weird wobble, I can't put my finger on it, genuinely. And then, okay, here's one thing, guys, I'm really excited to talk about. Then we see Ocon in the gym. Okay, we flash over from that speed wobble of Perez straight into Ocon's in the gym with his personal coach, I presume. Now, I wouldn't believe a fucking thing of that anyway. This does make me wonder, are these guys actually working out fucking properly? One would have to assume they are. But anyway, either way, guys, whatever you see here, it's bullshit. And I'll tell you why. Because the reps he was doing... Now, maybe some of you actually don't know this. Now, I only know this because I was in this world, right? So, you know, you learn things along the way. Just because I know it doesn't mean that other people are dumbasses or anything. Do you know what I mean? So, only from my experience, from learning from other people, the reps that he's doing with his manager, his personal trainer, he's going up, down, up, down, up, down, and he's doing it really quick. That's complete horseshit. Now, he's working out for resistance, okay? But you don't go up and down for resistance. What you do is you go down, you go up, and then as your body is going down, your weight is getting heavy, right? But you have to go very, 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 very slow down, okay? Very slow, and then up quick. And then you come down slow, 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 slow. Because then it's a harder burn, harder resistance on your body. But all we see is Ocon fucking going up and down like lightning speed. And his personal trainer. So that makes me either think, well, I'm going to go 99% that it's complete bullshit. They were just putting on a bit of, like, oh guys, let's see what you do for the show here, So I wouldn't worry about that. But, guys... if you didn't know that before, hopefully that helps. Hopefully it does. Always on the negative turn. When your body is going against you. So let's say you're doing a push-up. You go up, away from the ground. You go up fast. And then as you're going down, you go very, very slow. In fact, you crawl down. And I tell you guys, you get a better workout. It's better technique. And you build endurance and stamina, and it's good for your core as well. So it ticks every single box. And I like here when we're almost done here, and I like when Otmar says they're keeping Perez. He's got sponsorship, and he literally says it out there. But then he throws in at the end, oh well, but we want him because of his skill. Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Don't mind that. Don't pay attention to that bollocks. All right. Even when I was in racing, guys, me or any of the other racing drivers, they would have been sold instantly if some guy came along with some sponsorship. I remember it happened to me in Formula 2000. I went over to the Formula 2000 series in America. I won the Benelux Championship in Formula Ford in '99. I go over to America in Florida, I go to this oval called, I think it was called Lakeland, and it was a shootout between me and the Formula Ford world champion Ricardo van der Ende at the time. So the two of us are there on the day. We basically do runs. So I got in for, I think, what was it? Probably about 25 laps. And he got in for 25 laps. Now, we can come in as much as we want. We can stay out as long as we want. Within those 25 laps or whatever it was. And we can set up the car, do this, do that, whatever. So I scored a better lap time than him. And consistently better than him. And the team offered me the seat. Okay, they were very happy with me. Done. I beat the world champion. Boom, here we go. 2 months later, I get the phone call. And they literally decided to go with another driver because he was bringing money to the table. Billy something. For some reason I can never remember this guy's name. But he had a disastrous year with the team. This was the top team, the top seat. The guy never was in racing before. He only came, I think, from karting into now this is his first year ever. And they went with him because of the money. And they literally said it to us. And it happens a lot, guys. So, the point is, you can be the talented, you are the best, you can be the most talented, you can be very skillful, you can be the best, whatever it is. Sometimes you will get booted out because somebody is bringing money to the table. And, you know, I never was bitter about it because that's the weird thing. You never actually get bitter about it because you know what you're in for. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, when you're signing up for motor racing from day one, every karter knows this. Every motor racing driver in racing cars knows this. So, you know, I suppose in one way it's a kind of a comfort, you know? It's not a shock to you. It's just not. So, that's the good thing about that thing anyway, you know? I suppose like anything. In any bad situation, there's always a good and bad. In any good situation, there's always a good and bad, you know? And okay, what else do we have? Will Buxton at the end, he goes, well, it tells you about the guy Ocon after he finishes 11th in Singapore when he gets booted out. No. Don't believe that bollocks, ladies and gentlemen. That's exactly what a racing driver should be doing. If you finish last on the grid and you've got a good car, you should be climbing through up, okay? You should be. That's your fucking job. Whether you're in karting or racing, there's no shock, right? Like, even was it Verstappen? And, where did he started last on the grid. And he won the race. I think, it was in 2023. Sorry now, guys, you might remember that now if you can. But he finished last. Was it Miami, maybe? Anyway, he starts last. I think, didn't he have a gearbox problem at the time? So anyway, he has a gear problem, mechanical problem, I think anyway. Starts last, finishes the race, wins the race. Everybody's like, my God, that's amazing. No, it's not amazing. He should have won the race. And by the way, guys, if you don't know, I'm a Verstappen fan. Right? But I'll fucking call bullshit if I have to see, if I see it, okay? No. You have fucking standards. If you're in the top car, you should be fucking bringing food to the table. You should be fucking sticking it on pole position and qualifying. And you should be rounding it off, winning the goddamn fucking race. Now, look, you can have an off day here and there and all that, but... So, see? This guy tries to sound like he's a pro. He doesn't have a fucking clue. Anyway, okay, I have to stop talking about Will Buxton. I'm sorry, guys. Look, maybe you are a fan of his, and if you are, God rest you, or God love you, no problem. I'm not going to argue with you, but he's full of shit, okay? Okay, guys. I think I'm calling it a day here. So look, come here. We'll be back anyway, guys, with more. And I'm going to have to... probably have to get a hair of the dog later, actually, I'd say. But anyway, guys, we'll be back with more Formula 1, of course. And I'll talk to you later. Cheers, guys. Bye. Peter. Walsh.